Hi, Ann Cornick from Paint and Porcelain, and I'm here to talk to you tonight about finishing our poppies. We're going to be working on poppies, and this is the way my poppy turned out. I was real pleased with the way it turned out. Okay, so this is what I did, and you can see these little dots on here. I put those wherever I thought there should be folds. Just looking at this little dips, you see the little dip here and the little dip in the middle there. I'm going to do folds there, so that's kind of why I put the little dots out there. For tonight, you're going to need some colors. You're going to need, now I have this set up for something I have to go to tomorrow too, so there are a couple extra colors. Mixing yellow, moss. I added this at the last minute because I kind of realized maybe I needed moss on here. I also have, this is a Persian and this is a yellow red. You can use either one. If you have blood red, you can use that too. I just put these on. You need kind of a brown, medium brown if you have it, but I really didn't use it a whole lot except for background. The black, if you're going to touch up the middle, a rich brown will help you get a little more depth. This is chartreuse. The blue would be for background. The dark is, this is a black green. That would be for background. I'm using my quill this time. I know last time I used the metal ferrule, and it's fine, but I just found that this worked smoother this time. So like I said, different times, different brushes. So if you have a problem with one brush, switch to a different brush. You're also going to probably need like a liner and maybe a smaller brush like a 4 or something if you have it. And then if you work on the background, you're going to need a nice flat brush. These two are really nice flat brushes. You see how thin they are when you turn them sideways? They're really nice. And then I also like to use, and not everybody has these, but these are called filberts. And they almost look like somebody wore off the sides on it. And that's exactly the way it's supposed to look. So if you get a chance, that's probably what you want to do is get a filbert and try it. Just try it, see if you like it. If you have a filbert like for watercolor or something, as long as you clean it off, you could probably go ahead and use it for China painting. Okay, let's get down here and get to business. So like I said, I'm going to start with my number 10, and it's a quill. I have switched to Turpenoid to see what it's like, and I really like it. It really cleans your brushes. So those of you that use Turpenoid, I'm now in the know because I've started using it. Okay, I'm going to begin with a Persian red. So it's going to be like a side load of Persian red. I'm going to turn this upside down so that the top is facing me. And I'm just going to pull from like the middle. Oh, here, I've got to get a little more on there. Pull from like the middle up like this. And then I'm just going to do a little fancy work around the top. Just using the edge of my brush. The same thing here, I'm going to pull up. You might have to do it a couple of times. And then I'm going to do it here. Remember I told you I had a couple of places where I thought it would be kind of nice to have a ruffle? Well, that's what I'm doing here. And then just a few little flickies across the top just to make it look ragged, jagged. Maybe a short ruffle there, another couple of these, short one there, and another couple of these. Oops. Okay, now I know it looks odd. Then I'm going to take my red and I'm going to come around this side and give it a little more kind of a cupping by doing the bottom of it so that it's a little more cupped there, and pull it down. And then I'm going to start going up by those little ruffles I did and gently pulling them down. And what you want to do is create little streaks, kind of. You're going to hold your brush way, way back, the very, very end, and you're just going to pull it down like this. It's almost like feathering. When we talked about putting it on the back of your hand and very lightly touching it, that's exactly what you're doing here. But you're starting from where you added that little bit of color at the top, and you're just pulling all of this down, including these little lines. Okay? And I'm going to add a little yellow up in here just to give it a little more color. There we go. Alrighty. Now I went over this area here and I didn't want to go over quite that much, but that's okay. We won't worry about it. Now for the bottom, you can take your Persian. I think blood red's a little too hard, but you can try it. And you're going to go like this and just go around the bottom. It's almost like a straight stroke. You're kind of almost just, except here, you're going to come all the way up. And then you're just going to kind of go right across like that. And here you're going to go right across. Oh, that's not really dark enough. Let me get another color here. Sometimes you have to change from one color to another because you want to get it a little darker. I don't think this is, oh, that might be too dark. We'll find out. And then over here, I'm going to go here, pick up that whole little area there. Okay, so that's what I have done so far. And then we're going to pull it out very lightly from the base. And you want those strokes, you want those little lines from the base. Do you see the lines I have on there? You want those. That's actually what gives the poppy its kind of look. And then I'm going to go up here and I'm just going to take the edge of my brush, the corner of my brush, and I'm just going to make it a little bit choppy. I'm using yellow red because I want it to be the same as what's down below. I want it to look like crepe paper. You know what crepe paper looks like? You want to pull from down below. It's almost like little L strokes. You're doing this. Let me show you. You got it on the corner and you're coming down like this and going across like this to give it that little roughly kind of crepe paper look. Then you'll turn it upside down and you'll pull that little crepe paper look down just a tad, just a little. All the way across. I might want to add a little darkness right here because this needs it there. Okay. Okay, so that's pretty much my poppy at this point. Now I'm going to take a little yellow, add it right here so that we get the yellow. Oops, sorry, didn't clean my brush. There's more red than yellow. With this right here, a little yellow. Can you see the yellow? And then we'll take a little bit of the red and we'll just do a little of the red here and a little bit under that. See how I went a little under this right here? I went just a little under that. Just to give it a little bit of drama, I guess. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm just going to go under that little lip. And then I'm going to pull it back a little more because it's a little too pronounced. Then you can take your eraser if you have it and just clean out this guy here. Maybe clean this out a little. Maybe clean this up a little. You can go around the outside of your poppy and you can clean it up. Red's hard to clean up, but you can also shape it. So if you don't like the shape you have some of these places, you can shape it a little better. Oops. You can't always though, because you're kind of right on that tip there, but you might be able to a little bit. You could put a fold up there, you know. The other thing is if you find that your poppy petals are too short, you can always make them a little bigger by just going out on the side like that. And then coming around and just gently pulling it. and that'll make them a little bigger. Now when you paint the red and you paint it over the black's going to need another coat. So you're going to need to take your liner. I don't think you need to do the middle of this if it's dark enough. If you want to add a little more green or a little more black in there, you can with the liner. But my only concern is on the poppies that I've seen, and here's an example of one right here. It's like they're really dark down by the bottom. Can you see how dark they are around the bottom where those seeds are? So I'm going to take this black and I'm just going to sprinkle it around again. Make it a little darker there. Now, if you get too much black, let's say you just get too much black, you get I'll do it on my tile here. Let's say you do this. You get a whole bunch of black together and it just looks like that, okay? It just looks like a mess. You can take an eraser. I need a good eraser here. This one will have to do. And you're just going to use this end of it. And you're just going to straight up and down, hold it straight up and down. You're just going to do that, wipe it off. Do that, wipe it off. This guy is not a good eraser for that. Do that, wipe it off. And see, eventually it will take off and make it look more like little dots. So I've seen people do that too, rather than wipe it off and start all over again. If you have something like that that happens to you. But I think if you're careful, you can just do the little tickies all by yourself on there. But build them up around the base, make them a little darker around the base. You might even want to come up, put a few on this side, put a few more up in here. I just wanted it to look darker. And it should look much darker right here, right before it goes up over the sides. It should look darker right around the center. Okay? Now we're going to take the same brush, the number 10 that we had, and we're going to do our leaves. I'm going to use black green, and I'm just going to go, the idea is to put the leaf under this petal. This leaf is on top. It's going to go under this petal, and then it's going to start getting light, but it'll get dark at the end because it flips down a little. This leaf is going to be dark all under here and on this side. So, well, I kind of got the light going this way, but we'll see how it works. Okay, let me see what side I've got my green on. Here we go. I'm going to try the chartreuse this time. We're going to go down the center this time with the color. So I've got a full load of chartreuse, side load of the black green, and I'm just going down the middle like this. That's a little better. Then I'm going to come around this side. Oops, got to get a little more green on there. Then I'm going to come around this side. Just doing the edges. And then I'm going to come around this side, just doing the center there. That leaf is still not my favorite, but it's better than it was. And then I'm going to add these two there. Okay. You may have to wipe your brush off on your towel and come back and just pull some of this paint off of there. If it should blend. There shouldn't be a line. Okay, we're going to go back into chartreuse, full load, side load, black green, and I'm going to cut from here right across to here, like that. And I'm going to make this a little lighter. There we go. Chartreuse and black green. I did not go into my turpentine this time because there's no point. I already have those colors on here. And I'm going to go down the middle like this and down the side here just a little to give it a little color. And then I'm going to add those little guys here, here, or you can add them there. You could even go like this and sort of pretend that they're there. Push the paint around and make it pretend that they're there, and then just smooth things out. Okay? For most people, I would stop there. For most of us. However, if you want to do the background, I can show you what I would do for the background. Okay. I would use my filbert, and I would probably start out with a blue, baby blue. And I'd probably do a little of that down here. Now, this is wet, so you have to be careful. What I would do if I were you and you're new to this, you get the second fire done, you fire it. And then on the third fire, you would do this. So what I do is I put it on, and then I do little C strokes. You see how I do the little C strokes? I do them like this. And then I feather this way and this way, like a cross. This way, then this way. And feathering, if you get it, you will love it because it will give you a nice smooth background. But so I'm going up here and I'm putting more blue in. This is just baby blue. And you start out, you do this to pull it away, okay? You get it and you pull it away. And then you feather it very lightly. Now I'm going to add a little brown to it. Because I want to get a little more color into the background and maybe a little shadow into the background. And so I'm just pulling it around. That's why I say fire this and then play with these backgrounds like this and see what you think. They may or may not work for you like they do for me. I like to, see, I go like this and I go like this and I come up in the middle like that. Pull it off, go up here. I keep doing those circles, see the little C's. And then once I get everything kind of pulled up, then I start doing this. Go this way, then I go this way. Then I go this way. Every time you change direction, you change the lines. And if you keep it really light, eventually those lines will just disappear. Now you don't want lines like this on there. You want the color to be kind of evenly distributed. Oh. I didn't clean my brush there. It's hard when it's wet, so that's why it's going to smear. And that's why I say, please don't do it on this fire. Do it on the next one. You can put a little more blue down in here if you think it would help, just to keep the colors so that they're blending and not like creating these lines all the time. You might want to put, oh, I need to clean my brush again. I do clean my brush quite a bit. And then I go up here and maybe add a little yellow, because usually you add yellow where the light's coming from. You can add a light color. It can be yellow. It can be chartreuse. Now look, it looks like a square, right? I don't want a square. So I'm going to take a little blue and put on here and just come up the side a little and maybe up this side a little. Because the last thing you want are, lines where you can see where everything ended. And then if all else fails and you're not having a good day of it and you're just not getting those lines out the way you want to, you could take a makeup brush and just kind of pat it. And that'll help you. Okay, now another thing I do that you need to do is take a picture of what you've painted. So now I think I've got this the way I want it, right? I'm going to take a picture and I'm going to walk out of the room and I'm going to go on Pinterest and I'm going to look up a poppy. I think I have a yellow one here. Yeah, here. I have a yellow poppy. And then I'm going to take and I'm going to put that picture, not this, but the picture next to the poppy and see, okay, now what could I have done differently? My leaves look pretty good. They look a lot like those leaves. These ends aren't as ruffly as these are, well, but up here they are, so that's okay. I probably don't like this line across here, and if I didn't, I could take a little bit of red and break into it. See here how they broke into it? I don't know if you can see that. Let me show you. See right there, they kind of broke into it. I always try to do original drawings, but you know, you can look at somebody else's work and get a lot of good ideas as far as there. What if I did that? And what if I did this? Would that make it a little more frilly and a little cuter? And would it look a little better? I don't know. But you can play. But if you take a picture, what you see will not be your work, but a photo of your work. And then you go, okay, this isn't so bad. I can look at a photo because it's like looking at someone else's work and I can figure out what to do with my stuff. So pick up those brushes, keep painting. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye. I hope you enjoyed the program, and I hope you'll take a minute to subscribe so that other people can learn more about China painting and we can get the word out to more people. You also can look at the links below. My PaintnPorcelain.com website has a lot of freebies and printables for new and experienced painters, as well as studies, supplies, and even some of my hand-painted china. So thank you again, and I'll see you next time.